Welcome. I'm truly grateful to anyone hearing this right now. Those of you who interact with me regularly have been telling me that I should start my own podcast, so I'm going for it. I am really excited to kick this off. This is the first installment of what I have decided to call Get After It. The way I look at it, to quote, get after it means to take a proactive approach to your own life, to carve your own path, chase your dreams, and build something which impacts the lives of others in a positive way. You may be wondering what kind of podcast Get After It is going to be. Well, long story short, I will be having intense, in-depth conversations with people who are getting after it. In all seriousness, my aim is to share stories of sacrifice, growth, accountability, and excellence by way of interviewing entrepreneurs, artists, and other respectable mavericks who choose to go their own way. As of this recording, I have interviewed 5 different guests, including the Director of Business Development for a company which works directly with major record labels in regard to copyright protection, the drummer of an internationally touring, critically acclaimed up-and-coming Detroit band, and other hyphenated phrases, the founder and co-owner of a tattoo lifestyle brand company, the guitarist/lead vocalist of a band which made it to the finals of what was essentially American Idol for bands on Fox television, and finally, the CEO of a nonprofit organization which raises funds and awareness for the fight against cystic fibrosis. And that's the first guest you'll be hearing on Get After It, Emily Schaller, founder and leader of the Rock CF Foundation. I've known Emily for over 2 decades, and she is just as positive and caring and funny as she was the first day I met her. Being that this was the first interview I did, I was a bit nervous, and I think I interjected way too much. I also totally forgot to get back to the topic of Emily's Kicks Back program, which she mentions at around 8 or 9 minutes into the interview. Mea culpa, Emily. My conversation with Emily was recorded this past summer. Since then, Emily, who herself has cystic fibrosis, successfully completed her first full marathon. I mention this because we discuss it as an upcoming event on November 6th, which has obviously come and gone already. So, keeping all these ultimately harmless issues in mind, I hope you enjoy the content of this inaugural installment of Get After It with my most esteemed guest, Miss Emily Schaller. Let's get after it. Okay, Emily Schaller.
Yes, Johnny.
Yes, great to have you. This is fortuitous. You don't realize this until now, but this is the inaugural podcast.
Stop.
Yeah.
We're kicking it off?
Yes.
What?
That is correct.
Oh, we got to set the bar high.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you that ahead of time. I wanted to surprise you and get you in here and, put you under my clutches so that
Now I feel like I'm under pressure.
No. You just talk. We're just going to have a good time. So, Emily Schaller, you're 34.
Yes.
All right. And you are the founder and leader of the Rock CF Foundation, Rock Cystic Fibrosis.
That's right.
Which is a 501c3 nonprofit corporation dedicated to increasing the quality of life for people with cystic fibrosis.
That's right.
Perfect.
That's what I do.
Awesome. So, what's new and exciting?
Everything.
Okay.
Well, yeah, when you're the founder and CEO and like the face of the company, whatever's happening in my personal life seems to intermingle with the Rock CF life. But it's great because Rock CF is, my life 24/7. I'm always thinking about it, but it's nice to take a break. But we're rocking. We got new products, merchandise. Our big thing is awareness, right? So any new and cool hip products we have, people seem to dig. So we ship stuff all over the world every week.
And you brought me an awesome shirt.
I did,
which I'm very stoked on. And like I was saying, it has color.
It has
and
color.
I've been living in the rock
You
and
look
roll
good in
world.
color.
Thank you.
You're in yellow right now.
Thank you very much. I enjoy color. I like nice, shoes and stuff. I'm into fashion, and the fashion is actually. That's something that I've got your mission statement here. It's,
let her rip.
Rock CF Foundation utilizes the arts, entertainment, fashion, and fitness to support research initiatives and heighten public awareness in the fight against cystic fibrosis. Okay.
Yes.
So fashion, you have your own line of shirts, and
Right.
I saw hoodies and hats and
Underwear?
shopping bag, underwear.
Sure.
Right on.
I should have brought you a set.
You know what? Here's okay.
Okay.
I don't want to make you uncomfortable. I don't really wear underwear. All right.
Hey, yow!
I
I
know.
don't when I run. So,
Okay, see,
listeners,
when I go to the gym and when I wear a suit, those are the times I wear underwear. Because the suit's nice and form-fitting and it might split my
yeah,
pants.
you gotta
I don't want to be
keep
embarrassed.
that baby under control.
Yeah, and at the gym, I don't want anybody to see my my.
Ball and chain.
Yeah, it's nice.
I don't know.
Well, balls and chain. But either way.
I forgot.
But okay, so through fashion,
Yeah.
help me understand how you are raising awareness through fashion.
Yeah, so I wanted to create a line of merchandise that people would see and want to wear, that's regardless of if they know somebody with CF or not, right? So we've got cool designs. We use cool and hip. Hip is such a dorky word.
No, it's not.
Like American Apparel, soft tri-blends.
Mm-hmm.
I pay attention to fashion out there, colors that blend.
Mm-hmm.
What's going on, right? So then we kind of mirror that and bring it into our own line of products. So we have shirts, hoodies, tank tops, hats, and a lot of stuff we do
Shopping bags.
custom.
I
Shopping
saw.
bags made out of recycled bottles. So we
Wait,
tried.
made out of recycled bottles.
I don't know. I didn't make the bags. I just said put the logo on the bags. So we're trying to be conscious, using as much American products as we can.
Sweet.
Organic when possible, but that drives the price up. So we have to be conscious of a great design.
Most good things are expensive,
Amen.
so that's okay.
Amen. That's what I say.
That's- yeah.
Okay, so now I don't feel bad. We're going to bump the shirts up now to $40
There you go.
instead of $27.
Yeah.
John
Well,
says.
And not only, John said. But not only that, though, it's okay. You're not just buying a shirt and making a clothing company money. You're
Right.
doing this and you're giving back.
Yeah.
You're not just taking it's a 501c nonprofit.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, so somebody yesterday, I put up a new, I think it was the bags I posted. And somebody was like, how much of this goes back to the foundation? And I'm like, well, all of it, because it's essentially our foundation selling them. So it all goes back into the awareness side of things.
Righteous.
Which is cool. So, righteous. So we're up to anywhere between 100 to 300, 400 orders per month, depending on what month it is. And I mean, people aren't just buying one shirt. They're buying 2, 3, 4, 5 for the whole family.
Right.
Then they're throwing in coffee mugs and pint glasses and rocks glasses. And we do custom built hats with
Right.
like really cool, legit companies. So we just keep it fresh.
That's cool.
Keep it fresh.
That's really cool. So, all right. So when I asked what's new and exciting, one
Yeah.
of the things that I think, to me at least, that's new and exciting is you just recently threw out the first pitch at a Tigers game.
I did.
Which is pretty awesome.
I
So,
need to ice my arm.
oh yeah, okay, yeah, nice.
One pitch.
So, I guess the question on everyone's minds that knows you, that might be listening to this, or knows you either from cursory exposure or through your work through RockCF or just here in the hometown, is were you the one who chose John Fogerty's center field to play while you were
That's
out there?
great. Okay, when I was out there, I didn't even know it was playing, right? So when I watched the video the next day, I'm like, put me in, coach.
It's perfect.
No joke. Because that's my tune. When I go to the ballpark, I wait for that song to be played because I know it's game time. And I can't believe I threw out the first pitch without knowing it during that song.
It's awesome.
Put me in, coach. I originally didn't. I thought it was like, put me in, coach airline. Like,
Wow.
it took me a couple years
Not,
ago.
Put me in first class.
Exactly.
I'm
That's what-
ready to fly.
First class today. Yeah, no, it's coach. Like maybe Osmus, if you're listening to this,
You're
start
right.
coaching, babe.
Well, shouldn't it be put me in manager if we're
Yeah,
being
we're
technical?
not coaching.
John
But why
Fogerty.
is that?
Well, it's that's why I have a hard time believing John Fogerty. It's because he doesn't even know what the hell he's writing about. All right, put me in, coach. There are no coaches in baseball. They're managers. They wear the damn uniform for crying
Center field. Exactly. They
Yeah.
wear the uniform.
That's right.
No, I think others should do this. Could you imagine like the basketball coaches?
And you said I can be center field. How can you be grass? You can't even be you. You're going to be the center fielder.
Hold on, I gotta call John. I
I'm
got
telling-
Fogerty on the line.
You got Fogerty on text. That's
John,
pretty right.
JF, help me out, babe.
He's down on the bayou. He can't.
He's out. He's toast.
busy.
He's at a baseball
So
game.
how did you facilitate that? How did that come? Take me from the idea of
Yeah.
you making the first pitch to you actually were booked to pitch the first pitch.
Pitch the pitch.
Right.
Here's the deal. I got a sweet board of directors, and one of the guys on the board called me one day, and he's like, Em, you want to throw out the first pitch? And I said, yes. And he said, how about May 17th? I said, I'll be there.
Awesome.
That easy.
So it was just 8 or 9 days ago now, 10 days ago, something like that.
I think
Isn't it?
I'm not good at math.
Yeah, 10 days ago now.
Yeah.
Right on.
Big crew, though. We had a big group out there, and it was so fun, just like getting to the stadium. I used to work at Comerica Park back in the day when you knew me when we were playing in the bands.
Yeah, doing what though?
Merchandise. See, so I learned how to merchandise from working at Pure Detroit, the Red Wings, Tigers.
right.
But I was like hauling the carts around that delivered the merch. I wasn't like selling it.
Sure.
But I knew that stadium inside and out, so it was cool to be back there again. But then go on the field.
That's awesome.
They said, don't go on the mound. I said, okay.
Why?
Well, that's why my pitch was a little high, because I was practicing
Screw
from
that.
60.6.
See, I thought about it too. If I ever threw out a first pitch, I want a catcher back there. I want him in full regalia behind the plate. I want him to throw signs at me. I want to shake him off.
Okay, I did that. Do you know who caught my pitch was a new pitcher?
Right.
San Paulo. He's Australian.
Okay.
So I believe we had the first Australian-U.S. exchange in MLB.
Oh, wow. History.
Huge.
Nice.
Connie Chung's here.
I love it.
Yeah, so that was cool, but I did throw, he threw me a 1. I shook that off. He threw me the 2. I didn't want that. Said 3, and I was like, I got you. Then
Awesome.
I threw the heat.
Through the heat. I
Through
love
the
it.
cheese.
So your board of directors is the one who they coordinated and everything.
Yeah, one
You're just
guy.
like, here, show up, and you're sweet.
Exactly. That's very cool.
Okay, well, I'll get to the board of directors, I hope, in a minute. So another new and exciting thing that I noticed is that you had, and I don't know what the circumstances surrounding this opportunity, but you had the opportunity to hug and get a picture with Secretary Hillary Clinton.
Yes. Random.
Okay, totally random?
Random deal here. So I like to take a little time out of my day at work downtown and drive around. So we went down to Run Detroit to pick up running shoes.
Run Detroit?
Run Detroit.
Why don't you tell people what Run Detroit's
Run
about?
Detroit is Detroit's only specialty running shop in the city of Detroit. So
Sweet.
Running shoes, they'll set you up, look at how you run, look at your gait. They're the best, right? So they supply us with our shoes for Kicksback, which I'm sure we'll talk about. But,
100%.
Okay. So we were we're driving away from Run Detroit, and I just see this motorcade. This is Super Tuesday in Michigan. See this motorcade going down towards Avalon Bakery, my second favorite place in the city.
Okay.
If you're listening, I like the Cranny Brandy muffins. So I see this motorcade, and I'm like, here's the deal. It's either Clinton, Bernie, hopefully not.
Right.
I'm not going to name, but hopefully not other people.
The sentient Oompa Loompa.
You may.
Right.
The carrot.
Right.
And
The carrot.
so I said, either way, I put my car in park, and we ran out and ran down to Avalon, just not knowing who was going to be there. And we get wanded down by the Secret Service. And he's like, do you want to go in? I'm like, yes, we want to go in. Right? Yeah. The wand was all right. A little soft. So we eventually go in. There's like 8 of us. They only let 8 of us in there. And we're standing by the fire, right? That if you order focaccia, they heat it up in there. It's like 1,000 degrees. We're standing there sweating as she makes her way down to each and every person. Mm-hmm. Like full on conversation with each of us. We have a mutual friend, Miss Clinton and I, who has cystic fibrosis.
Oh, okay.
Her name's Megan. She's 18, and Hillary has met with her about CF issues and healthcare issues. So when I met her, I'm like, said who I am. I have cystic fibrosis. We run RockCF. Thankfully, Michael, who works with me, had a RockCF hat on. But she
Michael
really
is the righteous guy.
the righteous.
Okay.
Righteous. So she really wanted to know, like genuinely, I think, about cystic fibrosis, access to care. What can we do to change things? What do you see? As an adult with CF, she wanted to know my concerns. So it was very cool to really connect. And then we made like world news because we got selfies with her.
Sweet.
And so we took pictures all over the world.
Righteous.
Pretty cool.
That's so. To that point, then, how active are you in the political process?
So I have to kind of walk a fine line, being a nonprofit leader. So I can't, on RockCF's page or social media, I can't endorse anybody. But personally, I like to see changes in the world, like good changes that help people and not help yourself and self-interest. So I try to stay up on all the issues, and I'll post subtle things. Mm-hmm. And if people don't like it, oh well. But I think one way, if we vote in November, is going to really help keep the progress going for equality.
Right.
And the other is going to shut that down and make this place crazy.
Right on. Right. So I know obviously cystic fibrosis is a driving force in your life, and it is the reason that you do the things that you do in your career pursuits and whatnot.
Right.
But beyond cystic fibrosis, what to you is the most important issue to you right now?
I think we're humans, right? So everybody, whether you're LGBT or anything, you should be treated like a human being. You don't have the choice.
Right.
You're here. You were born. So you should have the same care and access to rights as everybody. race, gender, anything. You're no different. We're people. We breathe the same air. Just because you have more money or a different color doesn't make you any better or worse than us. So I think it's got to stop because it's getting pretty gross.
Right on. So what you're looking for is equality.
Equality.
Right on.
No, yeah, take all the BS out of it. Let's just I don't know. You get me pumped up. I might be here another couple hours, but
it's cool.
It's disgusting to see. We're regressing.
Give me a for instance where you're disgusted by it and you want to see change.
We really gotta check your birth certificate to go to the bathroom.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Now I think that's
a hot button issue.
It is definitely a hot button issue, but based on the legislation, that's just a little part that I feel
exactly.
that they're. I feel as though the media. And I hate saying the media because I sound like a conspiracy guy, but because this is media.
Yeah.
Everything's media now with the internet.
You're right, exactly.
But the mainstream media, the TV, the talking heads, it's the bathroom issue is something that we can all relate to because every human being in the world goes to the bathroom. So because of that, you're finding something. It's easy to find something that in the bathroom bill, quote unquote, that everyone can relate to and yet can be completely polarizing.
Exactly. That's a problem. It's polarizing. Every issue is so polarized now, and it is because of the media.
Yes.
Before, you'd have a few drinks, I don't know, 1950s in the parking lot or the local bar or the golf course with somebody. You'd argue a little bit. You'd get on with life. Now it's 24 hours a day that you're completely being pulled one way or the other, and it's making us crazy.
Yes.
It's driving me insane. I started to watch Katie Couric's new movie last night. It's a documentary about guns, and it just gives real, and some people might disagree that it's real, Under the Gun.
Under the Gun.
It's pretty wild. So it just the NRA was started to teach people about guns and how to use them safely. And they actually, they weren't allowed to legislate. What did they do? They were for gun rights in the 70s.
They were lobbying for gun rights.
Right, which originally when they started, they were not allowed to lobby. The original plan or mission was no lobbying, right? And now it turns into this money field. Mm-hmm. And so I couldn't even finish the documentary because I'm like, it's only going to make me more mad.
Yeah, it riles you up. It agitates.
Yeah, I mean, I already know my views, so nothing's going to change my mind. So.
And that's the thing. Okay, and a lot of things. Okay, nothing's going to change my mind. But I don't see you as being a person who is so reticent to change. You're talking about how you want change, you welcome change.
Yeah.
I don't think that you're a person that's so reticent to change that if you're watching something that isn't confirming your bias, that you're going to turn it off and shun it. I feel like you're going to have an open mind. You want to learn.
Yeah.
You want to, but at the same time,
what about things that are so that just
well, it seems
black
common
and white
sense.
Common sense.
It seems common sense. I don't have the numbers in front of me. You got everyone listening. You got Google. You can figure it out.
Google it up.
But we have more gun deaths in our country than so many of these other countries combined. That it's a thing of does that mean that Americans are more homicidal? No,
I don't know.
No,
Yeah.
we have the access. We have the stuff. Anyway, I don't know. I like to believe in goodness in the world.
I'm cool with being good, man.
I didn't shoot my first gun until not even 3 years ago.
Okay.
Because I just didn't even want to be around.
I've done the old clay shooting. That's fun.
That's
fun for
skeet
sport.
shoot?
Sure.
Yeah, that's fun.
I nailed a couple of those clay pigeons.
Righteous. That's awesome.
On a vintage Smith & Wesson. Yes, so nobody's trying to take guns away. As far as I'm concerned, let's just get on with life. I'm about protecting Amendment number 3 of the Constitution.
Refresh my memory.
Harboring soldiers during wartime. How come nobody's fighting for that?
Wait a minute.
I don't even know what that means. I spent 20 minutes trying to read about it last night because I was going to start this uproar about there's no protection for number 3.
It's just to get people riled up about it. Just
because, and we don't even know what it is.
It's so fun. Well, the thing, okay. Everyone talks about what our founders wanted and all this stuff. And I've got, books of Thomas Jefferson, Ben Franklin,
History.
1776.
It's awesome.
I love it. But at the same time, our founders were white dudes who owned people. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's pretty simple.
We lived, that was during a time when a woman showing her ankles was risque. Things have changed,
Now we can show our knees. And it's a whole new world out there.
Please don't. I'll have to leave the room. I will get too excited. All right, so a little background on you and I and how we even know each other. We first met, is it almost 2 decades ago now?
Stop.
I know, right? Scary.
Okay, so I was probably 19. So 17 years.
Well, were you doing Helen at the time that we first met? I know you were helping out or booking for South Normal, and you were starting. I think you were just doing behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah.
This is before you did the band, and you were interested in either booking my old band or something.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I knew you coming up through the music scene when we were younger, and
So mature.
Oh, yeah,
You're awesome.
Trying. So I honestly, when I first met you, I remember sitting across from you and we're just chit-chatting. I'm thinking in my head, this chick is so much cooler than me. I'm such a loser. She's kicking ass. She's got CF. She's killing it. She's dealing with all this stuff in her life, and yet she's got this positive attitude and everything. It just your positivity and your energy was just radiating out of you. Even then,
that's amazing.
Even though it's been a long time since then, you're still the same cat that I've known forever.
And I'm not a coughing cat.
Neither am I. So, is positivity a choice you think everyone can make?
I think so. Some have it easier than others, depending on the situation they're in. But that can change the situation, too, by having a positive attitude. So my family has always found the joy in every situation, good or bad, and we're always just finding the funniest moment in any situation, and it's always been that way. We've never sat down and harped about me having CF or being sick or anything. It's always been like, here we go. This is what we're doing today. This is what sports you're playing. Get outside and move and have fun. And that was it.
So the positive outlook came from your folks.
Family, yeah,
okay,
definitely.
Because you were diagnosed at 18 months.
Mm-hmm, exactly.
And your folks were told that you may not or would not graduate high school.
Not because of my grades.
Nice.
I did give my commencement speech at my former high school a couple years ago. And I opened up with that line, to tug at the heartstrings, my parents did not think I would graduate from high school. And everyone started laughing. And I was like, not because of the grades. Because they thought that was
because they don't. Yeah.
Those didn't help, but.
Right. So how old were you when you were told that you had CF?
It's interesting. So day one with diagnosis, I was treated down at Children's Hospital in Detroit. And I would go every 3 months or so to get weighed, because weight gain is something that we strive for with CF because our pancreas is all jacked up. So we get weighed, get blood pressure, check the stuff you're coughing up to make sure it doesn't have bacteria in it. And then eventually breathing tests came out where you would breathe into this machine. But I really didn't know what it was, because my parents never you have cystic fibrosis. We never did to sit down.
You were just along for the
ride.
Not
we got to talk. I was along for the ride.
Yeah,
exactly.
Okay.
So on the playground in third grade, I was running out to play, and I started coughing one day, and the cough kind of stayed and progressed. Normal people cough and then it stops, but with CF, you start coughing and then you keep coughing. So that was the first time in my life where I really realized, okay, this is CF. It's not going away. It's why my parents pound my chest, my back, and my sides to loosen the mucus up. It's why I go to the hospital to get these tests and get weighed. And
so you were never told. You just put two and two together after a while.
Yeah, my mom actually illustrated a cool book in kindergarten called Just Like You. And it explained that. I think she used that as a tool to explain. Once she wrote the book, we went through it. It's me twisted up like a pretzel, because when we sweat, we are very salty skin.
Okay.
I had my parents pounding my chest, my back, and my sides. And in the end, it's I am not sick. I'm just like you, blah, blah, blah. So she used that book, I think, as a way to really teach me about CF and what I have.
So when you finally had that awareness of what was going on with you, what was your first initial reaction? Your first initial reaction from the Department of Redundancy Department. First initial.
Oh, the Department of Department. I think I was just okay.
Just
whatever.
You went right through the grief stages. You just moved right to acceptance.
In third grade. What are you going to do? There's no crying in baseball.
Yeah, but you have to understand, especially more so, I think, now with today's technology, we live in such a. Everyone wants to tell their victim story.
Yes.
You
see that so often.
And they have that victim identity. And not even if they weren't a victim of someone else's, I want to say reprobation or what have you, but even if they were, whatever hand you're dealt, that they lead with that story.
Right.
When they come into a relationship with somebody or into an interaction with somebody, it's part of how they define who they are.
Right.
Do you feel... I don't feel that cystic fibrosis defines who you are. I feel like you define who you are and cystic fibrosis is just something that you have that oh, I got to deal with it. It is what it is. But to have that realization at what you said third grade,
Is that eight?
Eight,
I think it's
yeah, 8 years old. So to have that realization at 8 years old that, okay, I hate saying it, I have a disease.
Yeah, that's essentially what it is, right?
Right. I have a disease. There's no known cure for it. I have to deal with all these treatments. I'm not expected to live long. To just move right into acceptance and then to forge this positive outlook in your life, it must have been. I just can't even imagine that at 8 years old. Because at 8 years old, I'm thinking about getting my training wheels off my bike. You know what I mean?
Me too. That's the best part about it is that's what I was thinking about. Right? Is basketball was my jam. I was thinking about basketball and baseball and skateboarding with my brothers and biking all over and lemonade stands and stuff. So I didn't really. And the beauty is I didn't have Google. Nowadays, kids learn that they have CF, and they're going to hop online and Google it. And that's the worst thing you can do. Even parents shouldn't do that, especially newly diagnosed.
Tell me why.
It's too much information. Every single person with CF is different. Even brothers and sisters may not have the same severity and same symptoms. So you could go on, and people get stuck in the system, and then they're just looking and looking and looking and kind of ruining their own lives. If they have a newborn kid with CF, they're just looking, and their life is just like, this is going to be my kid, this is going to be my kid. They can totally just read too much and then not let their kid live, which my parents only let me live because they didn't have the info. They had an encyclopedia, like a paragraph that was like childhood disease, blah, 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 that's it. And I would go to the library in school and find encyclopedias or whatever and look up cystic fibrosis. And it was always just like childhood disease. I don't know what that meant. I didn't have time for it, really.
That's great. I think that it's almost an ignorance is bliss situation where you know what you know, but you just kind of put it to the side and shut it out.
I knew I had to go to the office every day to take my pills for lunch every time I ate, and I go down there, ecto cooler, high C.
Nah, they're bringing that back, or have brought it back. I don't
disgusting,
even know.
But
yeah, well, it's the sugar bomb. I can't even get excited about that stuff anymore because I'm like, I know what that's going to do to me. That's garbage.
You're gonna cry.
Yeah,
you'll probably cry.
It's ridiculous.
So like those little reminders were there, but it was never like I have CF. I never,
Right. Well, good. I think that's fantastic. So, all right, well, back to so that's where everything kind of started. Now, fast forward to when did you decide that? Okay, when did you decide that you needed to take it upon yourself to raise awareness and be somewhat of an activist for CF awareness and research and progress?
That's a good question. So
thank you. I thought of it myself.
Did you?
Yeah.
You didn't Google like
no, I don't have a board of directors. I'm a one-man show.
Do you want to join mine?
I do.
That'd be fun. So I would always in school, in biology was my favorite, especially when they got to genetics, because it was like the one time I would like get all worked up because like I know they're going to talk about CF. I know they're going to talk about CF, and they wouldn't have been like, oh, this is great. So I would bring my vest that I put on that fills up with air and shakes me up. And I would bring my nebulizers to school. And during the biology classes, not just mine, I'd stay around for the whole kit and caboodle, every class. And I'd let people try on my vest, show them what my nebulizer did, and then just talk about my life with CF. So that, like, high school is when I started doing that.
Okay.
I was a freshman, and I think I went to the advanced classes that my brother was in, like juniors and seniors, and started doing it then. So that was when I could really, like, share my story and share. Because in a textbook, you get a paragraph, and you can read it, and then be like, oh, Emily has CF. This must be exactly her story, but they have to see it real life because textbooks are outdated and who wants to read? So I'd rather go and show them what CF is, virtual reality in real life. So we had a good time doing that, and then I started fundraising a little bit more in high school. Then with the band, we started that Just Let Me Breathe rock show.
Yeah, I want to get to that actually because Helen with 2 L's, HE double hockey sticks EN, all girl group.
Yeah,
started with good friends. Essentially?
Yep. Good friends of friends. And then Amanda and I worked together at Pure Detroit. Becca. Yeah, we all just kind of like, I'm like, we're starting a band. You're going to play bass. Let's go buy a bass. You're going to play guitar.
So you just told them what's up and hey, let's go do it, and you did it.
I think there's probably some, like I wanted to play drums. I wanted to play guitar, blah, blah, blah. But in the end, it worked out.
Your energy too, even when you started the band, I was like, she's probably playing drums. You know what I mean? Like your energy, and being a drummer myself, it just exactly. our energy lends to flailing about.
You gotta go
in a
nuts.
Controlled fashion, and what I think is so cool about that is the fact that the drummer needs to kind of be the most athletic in the group.
Exactly.
Unless your front person is running around, being Mick Jagger
David
and
Lee
getting
Roth.
or Chad from like Wilson, who they're gonna. Chad and Jason from the band Wilson are going to be coming in here in a couple of weeks to do this too. Yeah, I wanted to get some people lined up before I decided to take the plunge.
That's great. Well, you did it.
Right on. So, but if you're not other than the front person, the drummer's got to be the most athletic.
Yeah.
You're playing with all four limbs. You got to have a real solid core and everything. So the fact that you're fighting CF and you're blitzing on the drums it made me very happy to watch you play all the time.
Oh, I liked watching you play. That was like probably the most fun person to watch is you.
Oh, I remember we played a Halloween house party or something like that.
We were dressed as Spinal Tap. That was unbelievable.
That's so great.
Yeah, it was gross. But that's when I was actually at my sickest and I wasn't in good shape. So drumming actually got me to start exercising a little bit.
Right on.
Because that was my only form of exercise was playing the drums.
Okay.
When we first started, I could only jam for like 15 minutes and I would just cough and spit. And then it worked out till we learned more songs, and my endurance started to pick up.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
So did you then? So you found that drumming was so demanding that I got to watch my health and whatnot, and that's what started you on that path?
Kind of more like exercise. My only exercise at that time was drumming.
Okay.
So then now it's obviously
other things.
Ramped up,
and I
but
want to
yeah.
get to that too. So you were not you were quoted, but an article was written. Oh, you got the dog. We have a dog in the studio today.
Dog in the house?
Yeah, dog in the house. Ushi. She's 10 months old, little mid-sized poodle. Cutest thing in the world.
Ushi die Wunderhund.
Die Wunderhund.
She's a Wunderdog, yeah.
Emily Schaller has the Wunderhund.
See?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's great. I got told by a German in Germany that my German is bad. So
Deine Deutsche is bad.
Meine Deutsche ist. I have no idea. I don't.
Yeah, great.
Keep
going.
I took 3 years of German in high school. The last
You
two
guys
I
all did,
slept in
didn't
class.
you?
Yeah.
I took it too.
Yeah. My first year of German was great because the teacher was into
Yeah.
it and she was good. But the second and third year, we got a new teacher and she was this older lady who, if you had any type of manipulative tendencies in your brain, you could easily manipulate I wrote fake notes from my band director to get out of her class all the time because I had German 6th hour, and in my senior year I took all music classes for the most part. So in the morning it was symphony band, in the first 2 hours of the day were humanities, and then it was symphony band in third hour, and then I was the student assistant for orchestra, and then it was wind ensemble, and then it was German. And with German, I would write a note from the band director and forge his signature and say, yeah, he needs me to do this. And then I just leave school. I just take off. I did music I started my music all day thing before I even left high school.
No wonder your German was so bad.
Yeah, because she wasn't even really teaching. This was like right at the start, or right when they were transitioning from giving teachers autonomy and allowing them to create their own lesson plans and whatnot.
Right.
And the educational system started taking that away, and everything is by rote now. And have you seen this? What is it? Math. What is the math called?
Common Core.
Thank you. Have you seen this stuff that they're teaching?
They're
kids
doing
now?
division in first grade.
That's cool.
First grade. I don't know. I tried to get out of every math class I could.
See, I loved math.
Oh, woof.
I was a little.
Say it.
I was kind of a little genius.
I got that.
No, don't get that. No, because
I could see it.
At 3.5, my mom had me tested, and I had 136 IQ or something like that.
That sounds pretty good.
And so they put me in like gifted school, and when I was in kindergarten for like 3 weeks, and then they bumped me into first grade. So I was a grade ahead for most of my time, and so it's, I don't know. I don't even know where I was going with that.
Common Core.
Yeah, so Common Core. So I'm looking, Jackie, my girlfriend, she's showing me this stuff that the way they're teaching kids math now, it is so confusing.
Really? I don't want to know.
I don't want to know either. It's broken.
My parents are both teachers. Well, retired now. So
right on.
That's the other thing I value is the education system, public schools.
I mean, if you're not learning, you're not growing.
That's right.
And if you're not growing, you're dying.
Well, you can't be anything without teachers. You can't do any job without teachers.
You're right.
So.
Have you seen You familiar with Key and Peele?
Yeah, I love those guys.
Have you seen Teacher Center?
No, but I'm sure
Oh
my
my
brother
God.
has it memorized.
Oh, it's so fantastic. They spoof Sports Center.
Oh!
But instead of athletes being the focus of the sportscast or whatever, it's Teacher Center.
Stop.
So they make the teachers into the celebrities. You got it's the teacher draft where different schools in the country get to draft the best teachers that are coming up.
I will be watching that tonight.
Oh, it's so
I'm glad you
spot
said
on.
that.
It skewers and I love sports, but
Yeah.
it skewers the sports celebrity culture and inverts it, and basically it's fantastic.
Okay, I will-
If you're
I
out,
will watch that.
Whoever's listening, to all of you listening, Google Teacher Center, Key and Peele. It's fantastic.
Gotta watch it.
So, in an article, though, about Helen, I want to ask you this. Coming up in the music scene and knowing the Detroit music community, as many people as we do and whatnot, Eve Doster wrote this write-up. You're smiling.
I remember that interview. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, it was like 07, I think, or 09 maybe. I don't know. Either way, she said Detroit practically dares its youth to start a band. Can you...
Interesting.
Yeah.
Was that in our article?
Yeah. Yeah. Do you not read your own press? You're not even listening to this podcast.
I don't even know who you are, John. I got a vacation to hit. Yeah, see you later.
Up here, I'm already gone.
Shorts brew.
So what is it about the Detroit music? I hate the word scene.
I know.
I don't like scenes. That's one of the reasons that I'm quite frankly I'm not in Coffin Cats any longer.
Yeah.
Is because music I love, but scenes I hate.
That's right.
I don't like the compartmentalized thinking and the judging and the image consciousness and all this stuff. It's very difficult to, in my opinion, it's just difficult to be your complete authentic self when you are subscribed to a particular style or genre that has a certain fashion reflection and all.
And
this
I find
stuff,
that was bigger when we were playing than it is now, although I don't know much of the scene right now.
Sure.
But if you look
And
at like...
me neither, really.
You had, I don't know, I've heard about... Well, I don't know any of the bands, actually. So,
Sure.
you remember like the Dirt Bombs and like the hipster garage rock, right?
Yeah, oh yeah, when the big exodus to Hamtramck was happening.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like that was Detroit rock and roll. So to be different, we fit in because we were 5 girls, I guess, but...
Oh, yeah.
You can do anything. It's pretty stupid. But like other bands, like who were legitimately talent and could play and wrote good tunes, they were looked at as sellouts and just like not real Detroit rock.
And I guess, and that's the disconnect that I've always had is growing up with my dad working at the big country station in Detroit. Country music put food on my family's plate for the first 13 years of my life.
Garth Brooks fed you.
Willie Nelson held me in his arms. Alabama, the band.
How did that braid smell?
Oh, it's like weed. So just like weed.
Just what I
That's
thought.
probably where I got my affinity for it, was by a contact buzz from Willie Nelson's hair when he was holding me.
Yeah.
No, but being exposed to stardom, really, because I mean, you're talking about the greats of country music.
Yeah.
My dad was around, and taking me backstage at concerts and stuff, and seeing this adulation from thousands of people for these beautiful songs. And I was into Michael Jackson, Huey Lewis and the News, the Beatles.
Great tune.
Oh, absolutely. I love pop music. I love stuff like that.
Me too.
And but when I got into the group when I was 8 years old, the music that their parents listened to, we weren't even allowed to have MTV in our house. Okay. Like the music their folks listened to was more like blue collar, like Motley Crue, Poison, the
that's
Riff.
what I grew up on. The Riff.
Yeah, right. See,
yeah.
I didn't. And so I started, because what I liked or was into was quote unquote stupid or gay.
Exactly.
I had to start learning behind my parents' back all these Metallica covers and Poison and all this stuff.
Wow.
So I felt like a bad kid, or whatever.
Cool.
But what's funny is as going through the rock and roll path, and then into grunge, punk rock is the thing. Going through the rock and roll path now, looking back on it, it's like, wait a minute, I never even wanted to play rock and roll. I just fell into it because the other two kids that I knew when I, in the late 1980s, before the internet and Guitar Center, that's what they were into, and
So
I
you
just
had
wanted
to do it.
basically. So I wanted people to play with, and now it's like, I do different stuff as a singer songwriter and everything, and I'm pivoting more towards a pop thing, and people are looking at me like it's inauthentic or whatever.
Well, what does that mean?
Well, I feel
It's so annoying. Like you're selling out. You're so like whatever.
That's what I'm getting back to, is the whole selling out idea. What I guess what is wrong with being a creative person, creating from your heart and your mind, and expecting or wanting to receive compensation when people want it from
That's
you?
my biggest thing is people dream of, being a rock star, or I guess you want to make a living, right? So if I was going to write music, and do it for a living, I would want to get paid to have it be my career, right? I'm not going to write music, work a crappy job, and get paid like a free beer every night. There's a chance, like if you're going to do it, you have to go all in and get paid. What's the big deal?
Right on.
It's not selling out. It's what you want. It's your career.
But right. But the thing is with artists, especially in rock and roll has and I'm not just saying rock and roll like the blues or whatever. I'm talking about the overarching umbrella of rock and roll and all things that fall underneath it, whether punk or metal or whatever. There is an unwritten rule or something, or something. There are some these rules and laws that are written that are intrinsic to the community, if you will. To where it's like, if you act this certain way or behave this certain way or play this type of music, or if it's catchy or hooky or has, a melody that you can't get out of your head.
Heaven forbid a good melody.
Heaven forbid it's a good song.
And of course,
right?
give me a power ballad.
Yeah.
It's going to be my favorite song on every album.
That's why, but see, that's the thing is all these greats that came before, with their power ballad, the power ballad was what got, they did the power ballad because the record label was like, you need a ballad so that the females will latch on, or what, to make you
open your heart,
easier for a wide, better for a widespread audience, that type of thing, so it's, I don't know, it's a real conundrum to me, to where for me, it's like, I want to make hits. Yeah. I want a hit song. Who doesn't want to have a hit song on the radio, So I don't know. It's just interesting to me. Now, here's a question for you. Very simple, 2 words. Why Helen? Not the name, not the band name, but why do Helen? Why make Helen?
I think because I was booking my brother's band for a while, then carrying their equipment, setting up drums, and one day it's just like, I want to do this. I want to play. So my family's all musicians. I grew up backstage at rock shows too, having my uncle.
Really?
Yeah, he like Nugent and Alice Cooper was my first show when I was 3. Awesome. So I grew up rock and rolling. So I just loved the whole aura of rock and roll in a rock show, and I wanted to do it.
That's great. That's great. And you just told the friends, like you said before.
Yeah, we're doing this.
That's so cool.
You guys want to do it. We're young. We can do it.
And now your last show was 2.5 years ago now. It was on the 28th of December, 2013 for your Rock CF, Rocks Back.
Yeah, right.
Just Let Me Breathe, put the show together.
And that was after 2 or 3 years off.
Yes.
So we reunited.
Do you plan on doing more reunions, or
I don't know.
I wasn't at the show, unfortunately. Yeah. I know that I was invited, but I believe I either had another gig or was out of town. I know I was out of town. I was running sound for Coffee Cats in, I believe, Chicago.
Okay.
That day.
That's a good excuse.
Yeah.
I'll have to check your travel receipts to make sure. But yeah, that was fun to get back together and rock a little bit.
Right on, but not again?
I don't know. It's fun. Every time I go to a show, I'm like, I want to play.
That's why I don't go to shows.
Oh, really? Smart idea.
Honest to God, people, it's funny. I don't even really listen to music anymore.
Who are you?
Exactly. I listen
podcasts.
to podcasts and sports talk radio.
Oh, I like that.
Because the thing is, okay, the music on the radio, they're playing either stuff I've heard ad nauseum, or they're playing new stuff that I either can't relate to or just don't like, and they play that over and over too. So if the radio has nothing to offer me, why listen to it?
Don't listen to it.
Yeah,
Don't
so
listen to it.
it's just I can't say discovered Spotify. It was discovered.
I love Spotify.
I just got on it 3 weeks ago.
It's great, right?
I don't even really know because
there's podcasts on there.
Cool. I've been listening to. I'm trying to. I was going to say break out of a mold, but that's not the right term. I want to understand what the hell's going on in music now.
Smart.
Because because I've been among, and I don't want anyone listening to think that I'm just harping on rock and roll. Like this guy hates rock and roll.
He hates rock, guys.
Because a lot of people
you see these posters. He's got Bieber.
All over. Bieber, Ariana Grande, Iggy Azalea. My favorite artists are the white artists that co-opt black art. It's perfect. No, but seriously though, because most people listening to this their first exposure to me is through either my music or the music I've made before with other groups, and most of those were from a rock vein. So I don't want people to think that I've been pretending for all this time. I make music. It's who I am. It's part of what I'm about. But I want to understand why if everyone that I know or am associated with is railing against what's happening now in music, but so many millions, the majority of people prefer that music to what these other people are still listening to or trying to create.
Right.
And what these people that are telling me, oh, nothing on the radio is good, all this music, Drake sucks, whatever. Why?
Yeah.
Okay, there's a reason, though, that they're doing well.
Right.
Okay? Like, people don't like Britney Spears. Oh, she's not talented. No. She's talented.
It's the reason she's Britney Spears.
Exactly. So I've been gravitating toward things that I hate to try to figure out what is it that I hate so much. Is it that I hate the music itself, or is it that I hate the awkwardness of having a conversation about why I like it with someone who doesn't? Does that make sense?
Yeah. Okay. I'm like a big Taylor Swift fan. Okay, I can't believe I just said that.
No, that's cool.
Like I'm 12:10. Emily just said big Taylor Swift fan. Okay, not like I don't have any albums, but I appreciate her. And one thing that I do see nowadays that I haven't seen really in the past, and especially I haven't seen at a local level, is cross-genre, like recording and writing and working together on stuff, right? So you would never, when we were playing, see like the dudes from some like hipster band playing with one of the dudes playing at Token Lounge, right? Because that would be
right.
They're two different classes.
It's cliques.
It's cliques.
Yeah.
But now you see T Swift, my girl, kicking it with I don't know, anybody. She brings these people on stage with, and it's like cool. They're cool. They support her. She supports them. It's just cool to see, even though everyone talks about how much they hate this pop music and hate her and stuff. Why are the true artists who are also making millions of money respecting her so much? She's doing something good. She's smart.
She's making money.
That's
for damn sure.
She's writing some kitschy tunes. My dream is to play drums in Carrie Underwood's band. Just like simple pop country. That'd be great.
It's funny that you say that, because a lot of these pop drummers, they're getting a lot of press. A lot of these pop drummers are real solid, real good. I know Bruno Mars' drummer is actually his cousin.
Bruno rules too, by the way.
Bruno is a cat that I can't compare myself to necessarily with the music, but his style of kind of an anything goes. Like he'll do a little hip hop, he'll do some funk, he'll do some soul, he'll rock out. He mixes it up, and he's kind of like a nouveau James Brown, a little bit, right?
Yep.
But what a lot of people don't know, and in your case Taylor Swift, the song "Shake It Off," was written by a middle-aged Scandinavian man named Max Martin.
What?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Max Martin. Anybody listening? All right. This is the first podcast. I'm going to get over this whole anybody listening, refrain that I keep saying. But y'all out there, Google Max Martin and just look at his discography. He did Baby Hit Me One More Time. He did Oops, I Did It Again. He did Shake It Off. He did As Long As You Love Me for Backstreet Boys, Quit Playing Games in My Heart, all that stuff. Okay. This guy,
awesome.
And he was a protege of a guy named Dennis Pop.
Okay.
Who was basically a club DJ in Sweden who would mash up dance tracks with older music. Basically, he kind of started doing mashups in the late 80s, early 90s.
Wow.
And all his brethren in his scene, clique community, whatever, in Sweden, I think it was Stockholm, was kind of, they were his buddies, but they're like, no, don't do that, man. You need to play this underground deep stuff, man. That's where it's at. They were purists.
Yeah,
and
right.
They were basically DJ snobs. Okay, like you got rock and roll snobs. Yeah, we got there's music snobs everywhere.
Yep.
Some people tell me I'm a music snob. Okay, fine. If that means whatever. But what he was doing is he's like, hey, this is just what I like, and it gets my people moving, whatever. So he started becoming a producer, and the song that started Max Martin's career, before Max Martin even knew it, before anybody knew it, was The Sign by Ace of Base.
Stop.
Okay?
I can't.
I know, right? Why can't you?
It's a classic.
It is. It went huge in America. Well, that was produced and put together by Dennis Pop, and there was the Ace of Base came to him, and he produced the album. Well, that hit, but then Ace of Base kind of went away because it was discovered that one of their members had, neo-Nazi connections. So it's like, label's not going to help you. But that was at a time, though, when grunge was happening.
Oh, yeah.
And no one expected, Ace of Base to hit the way it did. But because it did, it showed that pure pop could work in the States again. So it gave the
That's
record labels
interesting,
ideas. So then Dennis Pop, he kept doing his thing and whatever. He gets this metal band come in. And there's this long white-haired guy named Martin Sandberg is his real name. And he saw something in him, like, this guy's got an affinity for melody. He's got a good ear. He's very intelligent. I want to take him under my wing. He's like, but you can't, no one's going to want to work with Martin Sandberg. You're Max Martin from now on. He's like, all right, fine.
Cool.
Well, Max Martin, I don't want to bore you with the story. There's a great book called The Song Machine.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
By John Seabrook. It's all about how today's hits get made. And Dennis Pop started everything. If people are wondering why the music on the radio all sounds the same, one guy, Dennis Pop, started it all with the sign.
I gotta check this out.
Telling you. But Taylor Swift, Kelly Clarkson, Since You've Been Gone, Max Martin.
Oh, that's a good tune, Since You've Been Gone.
Yes, it is. And she didn't even want to record it.
Oh, well, Kelly,
she was she bawled her eyes out in Clive Davis's office. Clive Davis, the former head of Arista Records. She was bawling her eyes out, and Clive just let her bawl her eyes out for 10 minutes. After she had gone to Sweden and worked with Max Martin on Since You've Been Gone, and what's the other song, The Trouble with Love is, or something like that, off that same, I don't know.
I'm going to get it.
Either way, Stronger, that other song too.
Doesn't kill you, makes you stronger.
Yep, that's another, yeah. So she went over and worked with Max Martin, and he basically just drove her like a horse, right? Balls her eyes out. I don't want this song on my album. I hate Max Martin. I never want to work with him again. I'm a songwriter too. Just because I won a contest doesn't mean that I don't have talent. And Clive Davis is going, you want me to take this song off your album? This song is going to make you an international superstar.
Yeah.
And you don't want it on your album. Well, you let her. Finally, she relented. And guess what? Within the following year, she was accepting the Grammy for female vocal of the year.
Yep.
And Max Martin's the guy that brought it out of her. Well, Max Martin's the guy that's working with your T-Swift. He's the one that is putting the ducats in her pockets. Because when she first started out, she was all country.
Yeah, exactly. Now she's a little out there on some tunes.
Look at Coldplay.
Look at
Fall Out Boy.
You can look. Yep.
Look at Taylor Swift. Look at the artists with their first album and what they came out with that got them noticed.
It's evolved so much.
It's evolved towards more homogenization.
Yeah.
And pasteurization. Getting it. That mass market appeal type thing. Yeah, it's crazy. It's just crazy.
I'm a big Butch Walker fan now.
People keep telling me to check it. I followed him on Twitter for a hot minute. But people that have listened to my tunes have told me I got a Butch Walker vibe to some of my stuff.
Check it out because it tells he used to be in a metal band. That's how he got started. Playing metal band in Vegas, like straight up metal, strippers, everything you can imagine.
A lot of rock cats are pivoting to country.
And he's been writing tunes for people. Pink, he writes all Pink's tunes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right on.
I love Pink too. She's awesome.
Right on.
So yeah, he's great. Now his solo career is pretty cool. It's still low key because nobody knows him. Mm-hmm. You just know the songs that he writes for other people.
Okay.
He's legit.
I want to go back to CF and what you do with your exercise and diet. That not only just what specifically are you doing that is centered on and focused on addressing your CF, and then also what do you have? Does everything that you do for your CF would benefit anyone else as far as health wise?
Yeah, that's awesome. So that's exactly something I discovered around the time the band was starting to hang its drumsticks up, or I hang mine up. Was I needed to focus on a healthier life, right? So growing up with CF, because we can't really gain weight, they're like, high calorie, high protein, just eat what you can. And back in the day, like teens, early 20s, playing in the band, I'm talking fast food like several times a day just because like I have to eat this.
Right.
Even though at that time I wasn't having a really hard time gaining weight, something was clicking and it was working. But in my mind I was like, I have to eat this. I have to have all these calories. Don't tell me no because I got to do this. And that's what we were told from day one, right? And not exercising because I couldn't. So when I was eventually sick of being sick after being in the hospital 2 to 3 times a year for 3 to 4 or 5 weeks at a time, playing shows from the hospital, going to the show, then going back to the hospital.
I remember that.
Yeah. I mean, that was normal. So I was just sick of that, and I knew there was something else aside from breathing treatments and the vest and pills that I could be doing, So I started running and cycling, and then I shifted my diet, right? So I was paying more attention to what I was eating, but also about getting enough calories, right? So I shifted to like more whole food based, now vegetarian whole food based diet,
Oh, so
Tons
you don't
of
eat meat
avocados.
at all now?
No. Mm-mm.
Okay.
I had oysters in Florida last month because they were caught right there. So I
Yeah.
like sustainability. That's a big thing. And when I was in Alaska, I ate Alaskan salmon because in Alaska they can only serve fish caught in Alaska.
Beautiful.
So I felt like sustainable. That's the only reason I'll eat it. But yeah, it's vegetarian, and I still have to get a little bit more calories than most people. But now that I'm on a new drug, my weight gain is pretty stellar.
Huey Lewis.
Huey Lewis in the news.
I want a new drug. Yeah, that's good.
I was just talking about Huey the other day.
Yeah?
He's pretty soft, but he writes the tunes.
He's so good.
I know. And that
So
band,
good.
the news.
Their harmonies are they did they sang the national anthem, I think, at a Giants game.
Wow.
Back in the 80s.
Yeah.
This is on they actually, had a picture on their sports LP and everything.
Wow.
And their harmonies, this is, before autotune.
Yeah, right.
Autotune was invented in the 80s to make up for talented artists' lack of sobriety. Okay,
sweet.
and today it
Who
makes
knew?
up. Yeah, and
I
today
need that like every day of my life, a little auto-tune.
today it makes up for sober artists' lack of talent. So the script's been
Freaking
flipped.
brilliant.
The script's been
That's
flipped.
unbelievable.
That's the truth. I have an auto tuner right there, actually,
Let's
in my
throw
rack,
a little down. In your rack. Oh, right there.
in my studio rack. There.
Watch out of your rack.
Yeah, I have an
wild.
auto tuner in Iraq. He's working on things for me. I get it. He
good
does it
dude.
for me real cheap. No, so you got on a new drug that was helping you, but you completely revamped your diet. How long ago was that? Then?
Probably 7 years ago. So vegetarian for 7 years. And there's a lot of digestive issues for people with CF.
Okay.
We can't really break down the nutrients because of our pancreas it's got a really thick mucus in it that's also in our lungs.
So someone has to chew your food and put it in your mouth
Exactly.
like a baby bird.
Thank you. Would you chew my lunch for me?
I got a thing
I don't
gotta
care.
go to. I don't have. I
I'll
really
go
don't.
with
You can have
you.
Ushi do it.
Oh, she would chew that.
Right.
But she wouldn't spit it
Yeah,
in my
she'd
mouth.
just eat it.
Like the bird. That's a great skill.
No, so you flipped the script on your diet,
Yep.
and you exercised, and you said you started running and cycling.
Yep.
What was the biggest obstacle for you to? Well, I don't even know that there was an obstacle. Just talking to you, it just seems like anything that comes your way, you're just gonna either knock it over, and if you can't knock it over, you're gonna jump over it, and if you can't jump over it, you're gonna climb over it.
Climb it. I'm not afraid to climb.
Yeah.
It was getting off the couch was the biggest thing.
Really? Just
Yeah.
starting?
Yep. So I always say this, that like you have the couch potato.
Mm-hmm.
I was the couch that the potato laid on. Because I didn't do anything aside from playing drums at the time. I would
What
run.
were you doing? Just like sitting around then? What were you doing?
Sitting around working at Pier Detroit
Mm-hmm.
or at Joe Louis or Comerica Park.
Okay.
And not like waking up is 5 minutes before I had to leave to go somewhere.
Sure.
Where now I wake up at 5:30 to run or bike or work out.
Sure.
Eat, do my meds, really take time to like get my morning going. And it just set me up. Once I started doing that, it set me up for success, I think, because you got to have time. You got to make time for your life. Everyone just gets up and moves and works and blah, 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 and then sits down and stays on social media and watches Netflix and then goes to bed and does the same thing.
Rinse, repeat.
You need time for yourself.
Right, and then on the weekends, it's yard work and family.
It's yard work, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
It's pretty fantastic being a homeowner.
I love it. The first cut on my album is the song "Dealing with People." One of the lines in the verses is, "I want a backyard that I can mow."
Yeah, I love it.
Because it feels good. It's my piece of the earth that I'm tending to and making. It's not because I want to have the best looking house on the block, or it's not because I don't want to piss off the neighbors. It's because I want to tend this piece of the earth.
It's your piece, man.
It's part of my. I meditate. My meditation is mowing the lawn, trimming the hedges.
Do you have the powerless mower?
You mean?
I don't have. I've got one that I don't plug in or put gas in.
Oh no!
It's all strength. I got a small yard, but
okay.
Yeah, it's like 1954 back. again.
Wait! Just with the whirling blade.
Yeah. My neighbors across the street were like, "So the people before you also had that? Did they leave that for you?" I'm like, "No."
That's funny.
Yeah.
That's a nice coincidence.
It's better for the environment. Plus, I get more exercise because you're pushing
Right on.
it. So yeah, it's like cutting the grass every 3 days now, and I'm like, "This is cool."
So-
but I love it.
So instead of, so you're saying most people are kind of asleep. They get up,
Yeah.
they go to work, then
They're
they come home
tired.
from work. Yeah.
They're all tired all day.
Why do you think that is?
Because they don't move. They don't just. Your body, your mind awakens with exercise. It boosts serotonin. And it's like, I'm not just making this up. It really does,
No,
right?
serotonin and dopamine.
So whatever. Yeah, all of it.
Yes.
And it kickstarts. Some days I'll run after work or bike after work, but I know I'm going to be moving, and I've got more energy than my friends who wake up, go to work, come home, sit on the couch, and go to bed.
Yep.
You've got to move. The body's made to move. That's
Now,
why we're here.
do you lift weights too, or just run and cycle?
How could you ask me that question? Check out this.
Hey, look at the gun. Look at the gun.
Okay, yeah. So cross training is definitely key, especially as I train for this marathon.
Yeah, November 6th, you're running
6th.
your first full marathon.
Yeah, I'm very excited.
Are you okay? So you're only excited though. You're not scared.
I'm not
about
scared
Of course
yet.
not. Good.
Well, not yet.
You've done some halves.
Yeah, probably 15 or so.
15 now.
Yeah.
Okay. Right on.
I love long distance running, and now I've got a coach.
Okay.
She's out of Texas. She's like this fancy, awesome runner.
So she just Skype coach with you or something? Or?
No, she sends me a Google Docs, and then
Okay.
every day I have to upload my things, so it really holds me accountable.
Excellent. Accountability.
Huge. And then some days she'll text me to see how things are going, or I'll text her. It's great. She's been a supporter of RockCF for a while, and to have her kind of like at my side helping me,
Right on.
not bad.
It's funny that the last two things we were talking about with you is mobility and accountability.
Uh-huh.
Those are actually the first two of my core values in my core value system that I call
Awesome.
I call my martyr system, MAR.
I live on Martyr Road.
Oh Jesus.
Stop.
Come on now. So MARTIR.
Yeah.
Okay. Mobility, accountability, reputation for excellence, time, intensity, and respect. So it's funny that
That's kind of awesome.
I mean, I'm trying to live righteously, you know.
Righteous.
So
No, if anyone starts using that word, we're going to hunt you down.
yeah, I'm telling you. So all right, where does Jerry come into the picture? Jerry was your cycling partner.
Jerry.
Yeah.
Okay, Jerry, he is going to be 60 years old at the end of this month, in June, actually. So he has cystic fibrosis as well.
Okay.
I kind of came across him when I was starting to exercise, and he was actually my first podcast in New York City.
Oh, right on.
Yeah, very cool. So he was able to survive so long before a double lung transplant, which he had 4 years ago.
He had a double lung transplant.
4 years ago, yeah.
Okay.
So
And you've got your original lungs.
I got my OGs.
You
baby.
got your OG lungs.
Yeah.
I like it. Okay.
And I'm trying, I don't want to, hopefully my health stays the way it is and I don't need a transplant. Yep. But Jerry was just the most active and oldest guy in the CF community that I knew. So he did college pole vaulting and track and biking and just very healthy. So when I discovered him online, I was like, this dude is like he's like a guru for a healthy lifestyle and CF, right? What is he doing that I'm not doing? Exercising. So when I came across that and what his story, then that's really when I really kicked up. Did a podcast with him about starting to exercise, met him, and then it was like, sweet, I got to do this now. So now Jerry and I bike. We do a yearly bike ride together.
You're still riding. Cool. That
Yeah, we
was
do.
gonna be my
He's
next
New York
question.
City, so we've done 2 bike rides across, North Carolina to Baltimore 2 years ago, and then Maine to New York City last year. And this year we're hitting the West Coast. We're going California.
You're riding your bike to California?
Well, no, in California.
Okay.
I know. The original idea was to go San Francisco to San Diego.
Okay, so down the coast.
Down the coast.
I-5.
We're going to do 60-mile rides throughout different cities just because it's a little unsafe there on that PCH.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Devil's Pass is a thing, and I don't want to hit that.
Yeah, see, cycling, I couldn't get after. I stick with my weights, and I do. I don't want to call them wind sprints because that seems silly, but I basically alternate. I run like a lion is chasing me for 30 seconds, and then I walk.
fartlek.
Yeah, a what?
Google it, ladies and gentlemen. It's called a fartlek.
Fartlek.
L-E-K.
Okay, FARTLEK.
Yep.
One word.
Yep. Or as my coach calls them, on-offs. So on my training schedule, those are called on-offs.
Okay, so tell me, what are your on-offs? How do
My
you-
on-offs are, so say it's a 5-mile run, I'll warm up for a mile or two, just at a consistent pace.
Sure.
And then I'll run 30 seconds super fast and then slow down for 30 seconds or a minute.
Yeah.
Walk or run very slow and then do it again and just alternate that for 2 miles.
Right
and then
on.
do a cool down. Or 4 miles and you just do a mile warm up, mile cool down, and then 2 miles of on-offs or fartleks. It's a great name. How's that not a band?
So how much do you sleep at night?
8 hours. Got to get 8 hours of sleep. So that's another thing. More consistent sleep schedule has totally helped my health, emotional and just CF wise.
Cognitive.
everything.
It's ridiculous. I just read this book, The Sleep Revolution, by none other than Ariana Huffington. Who,
she's legit.
Yeah, I wonder. I wonder though. Sometimes I don't know exactly. I don't know. So I want.
She can do anything. She's a Huffington.
I saw exactly. So I obviously know who she is. She's always on Bill Maher. She's essentially a bit of a pundit. But a couple months ago, I stumbled on C-SPAN 3.
Okay, there's a thing.
C-SPAN 3.
Who knew?
Who am I?
I like C-SPAN when they're voting on things. That's
it's
fun.
so funny. But see, they were doing they were broadcasting live from the LA Times Festival of Books.
Fun.
And are you a reader?
I like to read sometimes.
Okay, that's cool. I love reading. I love learning. And what they were doing, it was like 8 hours long of they were interviewing, they would have a panel of authors that had written their different books, but they all had an overarching theme that unified them. And so they would have a discussion, then open it up to the questions from the audience. Then when that hour-long panel would end, they would shift over to an hour-long one-on-one interview with another author. So they had Reza Aslan on there, who's a religious scholar.
Okay.
Wrote the book Zealot about the life and times of Jesus of Nazareth, about the man, not about the Christ figure.
Sure.
So they had authors on there that I had either heard of or had already read their book.
Sweet.
So it sucked me in, and I recorded them on DVR.
No way.
Like, these panels are fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, they related the books to modern times
Cool.
too, and they would bring it into how what they're writing about is reflected in social issues, or, either globally or local,
right.
In the country. So, and when they interviewed Ariana Huffington, I got very intrigued about her books. So I ordered a few books from that were being talked about, discussed. And one of them is a Sleep Revolution book, and I didn't. We live in this society where it's like, man, I only get 3-4 hours of sleep a night. I'm so busy. I'm so productive.
I'm gonna drink this Monster.
Yeah. Oh my God. Energy drinks.
I know.
Energy.
French press coffee.
Yes. French press coffee.
Americano.
Some grass-fed unsalted butter.
Put it in there.
Some MCT oil. Blend that up.
I'm excited. Thank you for letting me try that today.
You're very welcome. It changed my life. Vic from Coffin Cats. He's
cool.
the one who got me started on it a couple of years ago. It's part of it was with this thing called the bulletproof diet, which Tim Asprey, quote unquote, invented, and he kind of just uses it, I feel like, just to push his products, which that he's hustling. We're all hustling
every day.
Yeah, but no, it's the cognitive function.
Oh yeah,
after drinking it is fantastic. And no, but back to sleep though. That's why I was asking, is because you get up early, you run or you cycle.
Yep.
You're running your foundation. You've got all these things you got to manage and everything. And I think it's important for my listeners to know that getting enough sleep at night and being on a consistent sleep schedule it makes such a profound impact on your cognitive abilities, your energy, just your emotions, the way everything.
Decisions you make,
right,
starting the minute you wake up, are going to be dictated by how much sleep you get.
100%.
What are you going to eat?
Yep.
Everything.
Yeah.
So that was a cool change when I finally realized how important sleep was. And because you're playing in bands, sometimes you're out till 4 a.m.
Oh, yeah. Partying.
Yeah.
Smoking, drinking.
Yeah, you're doing it all, man. And thankfully now.
And then you got bus call or whatever at 9 in the morning because you got to get to the next place.
Yeah.
I was fortunate in the respect that, and I offered to drive several times, but I was fortunate in the respect that I didn't ever have to drive the van.
Sweet.
They were like, no, you know what? We don't want to have to.
I think it was your driving record.
Yeah, that's what it was. That's what it was. They didn't want to add on to the insurance.
That's right. Yeah.
Is what it was. And they liked their 2-man rotation. So I was like, hey, if you guys are cool with me not driving, it's cool. I'll be reading. I'll sleep. I'll do whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, sleep's huge beyond just exercise and diet. How do you measure your growth of RockCF?
Of my biceps.
Of your biceps, yes, right.
They don't grow.
Right. How do you measure RockCF's growth, though?
It's pretty cool.
From where you started to where you are now, and what metrics are you using, essentially?
Yesterday I was actually thinking about this because I was doing a little survey for somebody else about my life and CF and RockCF. And if you look at the idea of it in 2004, when we started that first rock concert downtown at the Magic Stick with my brother's band, that was just a fundraiser. Just Let Me Breathe by RockCF, right? RockCF wasn't a thing yet.
Sure.
And then by 2007, I worked for 2 years on trying to set it up as a 501c3. So the first milestone was getting that letter that says you are now officially a 501c3 nonprofit. I'm like, okay, cool.
What hurdles did you have to go through to get that?
Oh,
Any?
man. Yeah, you got to do this application, and it always gets sent back, and then you have to redo it. So I had a lawyer, entertainment lawyer, help me with that.
Whom?
You will know his brother. His name was Chris Fuller. His one brother played in something Six. We used to play, not Electric Six, but a band we would play with every now and then. I'll think of it. But he helped. He was right on 9 Mile. He was
Is he still an entertainment lawyer?
I don't know. Chris Fuller and Mike, the bass player in this band, his brother was also the lawyer. So
okay, sweet.
It'll come to me. But he helped really go through it all, especially when that first thing came back with more info. Because when you set up a nonprofit, you have to really point out what's going to make you different from everyone else. Like, if it wasn't, everyone could just open their own nonprofit and start making money. But so we had to tweak about, a few things about what our mission was, what we were going to do. And that's obviously evolved as 10-year mark approaches.
Right.
But just so going from an idea to actually becoming a nonprofit and then working retail to pay my rent and buy groceries and pay my car, but still working Roxy F out of my house 24 hours a day. Always being on, because you have to be on when you're the CEO of your own nonprofit. But luckily I've learned how to just like shut it off and not let it run my life.
I've actually changed my phone to grayscale.
Stop.
Yeah.
I need to do that.
Yeah, just I'll show. This is great.
What does it mean?
It means that it's black and white all the time.
Oh, wow.
I switched my phone to black and white so it doesn't show, because the colors they trigger the dopamine effects in your brain. So my phone is just boring as shit now.
I'm gonna try.
You know what I mean? So it's like, we have all this obsession with our phone or whatever, and you get sucked into a tunnel of Facebook or whatever the heck.
Yeah.
I had to turn it off, man. I had to. Yeah.
That's good. That's good.
That's a tip I picked up from listening to I think Joe Rogan.
Really? See, I just downloaded that, so I'll hit that later. But yeah, it's kind of awesome to see now. 3 years ago, we moved into our first space downtown. So actually, now I'm not working at home, so I can turn it off. Like
you moved into your first space downtown.
Roxy F's official international headquarters.
Really?
Sure.
Where's that at?
Across from the Fisher Building on West Grand Boulevard, across from Cafe Con Leche. So New Center Park.
Okay, right on.
We've been there before. We're right there, mezzanine level, overlooking the boulevard. And we might need a bigger space because we're growing.
That's so fantastic.
It's cool. The merchandise line is really taking off.
It's great. I can't wait to wear my shirt.
You got to send a pic,
It's
man.
got orange. It's got safety orange in it, and it's one of my favorite colors. Like, everything.
Yeah.
I love orange. Speaking of the Fisher Building, so Max Fisher's son-in-law just bought the Fisher Building.
Oh, good.
And the Kahn Building.
Oh, I didn't know that.
For $12 million. That's nothing.
I know, for that giant building
nothing.
with all the history, that place is awesome.
These billionaires are coming into Detroit now because it's so cheap, and they're buying up stuff, and they're just Detroit is becoming a billionaire's playground right now. It's insane.
Yep.
And driving around for Uber and Lyft,
you see it.
picking up people, from all these different areas of Metro Detroit, and different socioeconomic backgrounds, and all that stuff. It's really interesting to see the perspectives that the people have on what's going on downtown.
Yeah, it's wild.
Yeah,
it's fun because I lived in the city 15 years ago before it was cool.
Right.
So I lived up by New Center, then I lived down next to the DIA, and then I moved home, and now I've got my own place. But I would love to live in the city. I just can't because car insurance costs half of what a rent would be for someplace. So once that gets figured out, then maybe I'll consider it. But by that time, real estate will be through the roof too. So
and a lot of people though, especially younger, yuppies, if you will, young urban professionals such as ourselves, anything she does, the dog is moving around. Anything that she does, I don't care. She's cute as hell. She could bark for the rest of this thing. I'd be fine with it.
She's like, "No, I'm tired."
Yeah, but where is that? I forget where. I just forgot what the hell I was going to say.
So you were going to say essentially that.
Oh, yuppies. Yeah,
Yuppies.
So they're getting rid of cars.
I know. Yeah.
We were just talking about this before we started, but the fascination with the automobiles kind of coming to an end with these self-driving cars that are going to be coming out. But I got so many buddies pals, friends, whatever, that have completely got rid of their car
Right.
because they don't want the car payment. They don't want the car insurance payment. They don't want to have to pay for maintenance. They don't, or oil changes or
Oh, yeah.
gas. They don't want to. Gas just went up like
I know.
30
Well,
cents because
holiday weekend.
hey, holiday weekend,
Exactly.
people are going to want to go and fill up their boats and stuff. Better extract some more money from them. So they're just ditching all that and just
Right.
Ubering and lifting. And then
Isn't that
when they
wild?
want to go on a road trip, they rent a car.
They do the zip car or something. Right?
Zip cars too.
Yeah.
I just found out that there's a zip car depot downtown near.
There's one right across the street from me. I see
right by
people,
right Punch Bowl Social, like right around in that area.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
Z-Lot probably.
Z-Lot. That's exactly what it is. It's exactly what it is.
So if I lived in New York, obviously I wouldn't have a car because that transit system is legit. But here it's like we're not quite there yet.
and there,
You can be if you really want to dedicate your life.
yeah, if you want to dedicate your
that.
life to waiting for the bus,
Yeah.
because no,
Bus is always on time.
Yeah, newsflash: Detroit's public transit system is hot garbage right now. But yeah, they are
Stinky
fixing
garbage.
it.
Yeah.
But it looks as though okay. And this is the thing. Getting back to the whole differences of perspective is. And correct me, I don't know what you know about this, but correct me if I'm wrong. What I've been told is that Dan Gilbert, who owner of the Cleveland for those who don't know, owner of the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Quicken Loans Arena. He owns Quicken Loans. He set up Quicken Loans headquarters in Detroit, and he has become a big investor in the city, along with Mike Ilitch, who owns Little Caesars Pizza and the Detroit Tigers and the Detroit Red Wings. Well, they're buying up areas for relatively cheap and buildings for relatively cheap, and they are developing in these areas. And what Dan Gilbert is doing is he's turning buildings into apartment buildings or refurbing apartment buildings. What he's doing, though, is he's giving his employees of Quicken Loans a monthly stipend on their salary of anywhere from, I guess, $250 to $500 a month if they choose to live in one of his buildings downtown. Okay, so that's cool. It's employer giving back to his employees so they can live in the city and be close. But he owns the building. So the rent that they pay, he's making money on. And the stipend that he's giving to offset part of that rent,
Going back to him.
it's not that it's going back to him, but if you don't work for Quicken Loans and you live in that building, your rent just went up $250, $300 a month. And so now
I haven't heard that.
you're getting evicted from your apartment where you've been for a long time because the rent was cheap and you needed to live in the city out of economic necessity.
Yeah.
Whereas people who are coming from the suburbs, or grew up in the suburbs, that are now it's if I had a choice, I can get a less expensive apartment in the suburbs. Oh, but I can live in this swank new downtown apartment.
Exactly.
And so what's happening is the perspective. If you're doing well right now, you think Detroit is on the rise and it's doing great.
Right.
If you're on the struggle bus, like so many of my customers are, they are not necessarily happy about what's going on.
Right. It's tough. I mean, Detroit is so huge. I mean, people don't realize.
Okay, well,
It was the fourth largest city, 1946. Is that the year?
something like that.
It was
yeah.
bigger than New York.
Right.
It was huge, right? So
It
built
covers
for
a big swath of land.
3.3 million people is what the city was built for.
Okay.
Now under 700,000 people live there.
Well, and a lot of that has to do with that white flight of the 60s.
Yeah, absolutely.
when
Highways ruined Detroit.
highways and shopping malls.
Yeah. Oh,
because
yeah.
When the Civil Rights Act was passed, this through the Civil Rights era, when you had all this racial discord and everything, essentially racist white people just said, "Oh, okay, fine. You want the city, you can have it.
Right.
I'm out. I'm moving as far away from you, quote unquote, undesirables as possible, or whatever." Right. So they dip out and they move to the suburbs, but all the big stores and restaurants that you like to go to, they're all still in the city.
Right.
Well, those companies said, "Nah, don't worry about it, folks. We're going to build this
one out
shopping
there."
mall."
Yeah.
Yes. So they put the shopping mall together.
Right.
And then you drive to it and da-da-da-da. Well, now we're getting away from the shopping mall.
Right,
We're
we're
going
back
to more
and forth.
destination stores again, going back into the city. Well, part of that, living where I did in Livonia, Michigan, my back fence was actually a wall.
Okay.
And that separated my backyard from the Wonderland Mall parking lot.
Oh, yeah, the
in
Wonderland
Livonia,
Mall,
which
yeah.
is not there anymore.
Yeah.
Wonderland. This is a funny story since we're both Detroiters, but Wonderland Mall and the property was owned by a guy named Robert Shostak.
Oh, yeah, Bobby Shostak.
You know him. Okay.
I've heard him on NPR.
Okay, so what Robert Shostak did was in the late 80s, early 90s, he got in bed with Walmart, and they colluded together.
Bed bugs. I gotta watch out for
I
that.
know, right? They colluded to devalue properties all over Southeast Michigan in order to create a void where Walmart could come in and step in. So what Shostak did was Livonia at a time was the 7th best rated by some magazine or whatever, the 7th best city in which to raise kids in the country. Okay. What he did was he played on the inherent racism of the population of Livonia at the time, and he got the bus stops placed at his malls. So when you've got
Oh my goodness.
right? So he got bus stops placed at his malls.
Yeah.
You are a disenfranchised person living in the city of Detroit.
Right.
You're poor.
Yeah.
What's it like in your house in the summer?
Real hot.
It's like Auschwitz in that house.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So they got on the bus and they would get dropped off and hang out all day in the air-conditioned malls.
Exactly.
So now you've got a bunch of black people coming into your malls where you thought you were safe and secure.
Right, exactly.
Right? And so all these people, they're taking over. And so now the malls start to, Livonia Mall, Wonderland Mall, both owned by Shostak. What is in both of those locations now?
Walmart.
Walmarts.
You stop.
Walmarts. And the city.
can't.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. And beyond that, and I know this is very interesting to all of you listening who aren't anywhere near Detroit, but at the intersection of I-96 and Middle Belt, there's a bunch of stores and restaurants and all that stuff. They're all owned by Shostak. He devalued the property in order to build up even more of his own stuff. It's insane.
Wild.
It's crazy.
Wild.
So again, though, you've had the billionaire him playing around in Detroit long before Dan Gilbert started doing his thing and everything.
Right.
So again, this comes back to the equality thing that you're talking about.
Yep.
Okay. And
A level playing field for all.
yeah, so we have this big income inequality issue going on in the country and everything. And so it's kind of hard to reconcile the greatness and the awesome things that are happening in Detroit because it is awesome.
Yeah,
You're
it's
getting
great.
new buildings. You got the Nike store just opened
Today.
yesterday. Today? Okay.
No,
Or
yesterday.
So the Nike store just opened yesterday. And and they're making it into this community store where they give back and they think they're saying that, hey, since Nike's here now, that's going to bring other bigs to the city.
Right.
So I feel I don't know. I guess you got to take the good with the bad.
You do.
right?
And I listen to a lot of that on WDET, the morning show, where people call in from all over Detroit. And while there is such great things happening, there's still the people not in the city, but still live in Detroit in the neighborhoods that are being left kind of in the dark. So how do we reach them? I have no clue. I don't know the answers.
Yeah, we don't do civic engineering.
No.
Yeah.
But I love Detroit.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
I love watching it.
Yeah.
I've always kind of watched Detroit from afar and just gone in to play the shows and then get out, type of thing. But I enjoy watching the change, and there's a lot of change.
So fun.
So before I ask you a series of questions,
Love it.
But because I want to start wrapping it up here to get you out of here so you can actually enjoy your vacation. Where does CF stand right now as far as research and things that are going on that to combat, prevent, and cure CF that people should know about?
All right. I say this, Detroit, not Detroit. Well, it is kind of like Detroit. CF and Detroit are like the underdogs, right? Only 30,000 people in the U.S. have CF. So it's considered
30,000.
Yeah, it's considered an orphan rare disease, right? So
That
we
is
get no
weird.
federal funding. It's all from fundraising. So we kind of have to do things ourselves, right? So the CF Foundation spearheaded research. They're like the biggest leaders in research, right? But they funded a new drug that I'm on today that treats CF at the underlying
Wait,
cause.
you're high right now?
Well, it's a little blue pill.
Oh, so you're hard right now.
Yes, I'm. Yes.
Awesome.
How do you spell that? So this little blue pill that I take twice a day essentially corrects, helps my protein in my cell work. So essentially alleviating most of my symptoms of CF.
Great.
Now I still do my meds and my vest, and last night I had to drink 4 liters of this stuff to make me lose 7 pounds because I was blocked up, see if we get these intestinal issues. So I still have some symptoms, but I've never felt better in my entire life. Like my lung function is the highest it's been. And now they're starting to give it to younger kids with CF. So I'm so excited to see like a baby or when they turn 2 or so start this drug, and they may never develop any of the symptoms, right? It's not a cure for CF, but it's controlling it.
It's fantastic.
And this drug only treats 4 to 8% of the CF population because there's 1,800 to 2,000 mutations of CF.
Jesus,
and this
it's
drug,
like the Android operating system.
you may. I don't. Yeah, you can throw droid at me all day. I don't even know what that means. But it only treats 4% of that 2,000. Let's say 4 to 8%. So it's the first drug of its kind. I relate it to the Model T because now we have Teslas and now autonomous cars. So it's a first drug of its kind that controls CF. And the research now is just like through the roof. We're looking at RNA therapies that will treat RNA, ribonucleic acid.
Thank you very much.
DNA is deoxyribonucleic.
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't do math, but I did that.
That's great.
So inhaling this stuff maybe once a month, who knows for sure yet, but it'll treat your CF before even like you would treat it in your cell. Like the drug I'm on now treats it in the cell. This would treat it in the RNA. I don't know what that means yet, but it could mean incredible improvements.
Fantastic.
So out of any disease out there, really CF is making the biggest push for like, what do we call it? I guess designer drugs, right?
Yeah,
so they
sure.
can look at your genes when you're diagnosed. Well, not your genes, but your genes.
Sure,
The
right.
AG, if you're listening. But they'll look at it and say, this drug, this one's for you because you have this mutation. This one's for you. You have this mutation or two or whatever it's going to be. And we're essentially closing in on a cure. But the biggest thing is this controlling the disease because people are responding really well to these drugs. Like I bought my first house because of this drug, and I'm training for a marathon because of this drug.
You bought your first house because of the drug?
Yeah.
Help me understand what you mean
Because
by that.
I am living now. Like up until 4 or 5 years ago before I started this drug, I was running and exercising and the healthiest I'd been, but I was still like CF sick, you know?
Sure.
And not sure what my future was going to be. But today, because of this drug, I feel the best I've ever felt in my life. It is.
Fantastic.
And it's crazy. Like you could say, like, oh, my pulmonary function on paper looks great. My weight is steady. My sweat chloride level. Remember, I told you when we sweat, there's extra
Salty.
amounts of salt, right?
Yeah.
This has reduced my salt like almost to normal levels. So that means that this drug is truly working because it's changing at the cellular level. So my salt function is under control.
Fantastic.
So these things are great on paper, but in like everyday life, I've never felt better in my entire life. And I see me getting really old.
That's fantastic.
It's crazy. So my goal, if nobody better steal this, so I'll just say it now. Why not? Because people like to steal things
Copyright.
of ours. Yeah. We're working on a Cure Found design right now that we're going to print. You know, like for the Super Bowl, they print Super Bowl champion shirts for both teams, and whoever wins, they get the other ones they ship to Africa. We're going to do a Cure Found shirt.
We are such bastards.
I know. And we're just going to print them all and have them in storage, 30,000 of them.
Nice.
And then when CF is cured, we're just going to Amazon drone them to everybody.
Yes.
I just made that up, but I think it'll work.
That will work because by the time that happens, the drones will be delivering everything.
Exactly. So we're thinking
crazy.
within 10 years, maybe 5 years, we'll have a treatment that will treat we'll give a chance for every person to be on a drug that I'm on.
Well, have you
It's
seen
crazy.
what's going on with gene therapy?
Yeah. So we've got some stuff going there too.
They're based on some stuff I've looked into and or read. Gene therapy is like right around the corner where you're
Right.
going to be able to go into some of these like the what are they called? They're like not biohackers, but like a biolab, basically like on like mercenary labs where seriously where scientists and technicians who aren't beholden to big pharma
Right.
or big medical are doing their own research because the equipment for
Well, the CRISPR technique, that's a huge gene editing thing.
yeah, so the technology and the tools and the resources that you need in order to do these experiments, they're becoming a lot less expensive.
Yeah, exactly.
And more accessible for people. So you can get some of these rogue, doctors essentially that can do their own research. And it's gonna start soon, I guess,
Yep.
where you can spend, for $15,000, we'll do this. For
Exactly.
$10,000, we'll do this, and you can basically get yourself fixed a la carte.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah,
Like
well,
that's-
education's kind of going that way too, where you can do
Yeah.
a la carte. I'm
Yeah.
going to go take math at this school. I'm going to go take history at this school. I'm going to take
That's interesting.
English. Well, we are living in this on-demand society, and because we're connected with everything, and the way that technology is advancing
On demand
so
is
rapidly,
exactly right. Yeah.
we have the information, we know what's bad, we know what's good, and now it is on us to not be ignorant about that information and to act on it.
Yeah, with everything.
With everything.
Everything.
With everything. And that's the thing. Like, you mentioned when I was making the coffee and I set the timer, you're like, oh, 333, I like it. And I told you, that's just so I don't have to move my finger from 3 to 0. Just any little
saving
thing.
time, baby.
To
Saving
save
time.
Yes, because time's all we have.
I know.
Time is all we really have.
Yeah. For anything. So my thing is find what you love to do and do it.
Okay.
Make the world a better place.
Get after it.
You get after it.
That's
enough
the title of this podcast. Get after it.
Self-fulfilling. Make other people's lives better.
Okay, so give me a sentence or two what you think the average person needs to know about cystic fibrosis or someone who has cystic fibrosis.
Okay. It's genetic and you're born with it. It's not contagious. And it doesn't just affect your lungs. It affects everything. Bones, digestive system, mental illness, heart, kidney, not really heart, but kidney and liver, everything.
Okay.
It's multi-dimensional.
Okay. What is the most important thing that living with CF has taught you?
Interesting. Don't take anything for granted. And just live every day not like it's your last, because that sounds cheesy, but just enjoy every moment, I guess.
Okay. Appreciate.
Yep.
Be present.
I learned that from yoga. Started doing yoga a few years ago.
Right on.
And just learning mindfulness is so key to everything.
Awesome. You found your bubbling springs.
I found those last night after I drank that Go Lightly.
Awesome. How often do you talk to yourself?
Scary. A lot.
Out loud?
Yep. In the mirror.
And I was just saying,
I was going to say, does anyone else do that? Because...
Yeah, I do.
Okay, good. Well, that makes me feel better.
Absolutely.
I talk to myself and then I say, anyone else doing this? No. It's so weird.
How do you relax? Because you're go.
Yeah.
So how do you relax?
Usually after work, if I don't have a workout or something, it's just chill time. Me and my pup walk around the block, throw on a little Netflix. Actually, Seinfeld reruns nonstop.
I have the whole Seinfeld collection on DVD.
I can't stop. Hulu, dude. I'm a Hulu-in every day. I can't stop. I'll watch the same episode 16 times. I don't care.
It's great. It's so great.
So cool, man.
I turned on Seinfeld yesterday, and
what
it was right. Exactly. It was right at the end, right before the freeze frame where Elaine goes to punch Frank Costanza.
Yeah.
Where they're where you want a piece of me? You got it. And I was like, I missed the episode.
Is that the fatigues episode?
Oh shoot, I have no idea.
I think it
at
is.
This point.
I don't know.
I have no idea.
Don't write in if we're wrong.
Who is the most influential person in your life?
That's very hard.
That's why I asked.
Because my life is so multi-dimensional. I think with every decision I make, my mom's at the back of my mind.
Awesome.
Like every decision.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. And what did your mom, if you could take away one lesson from your mom, just one lesson, you had to learn everything else all over again except this one thing from your mom, which one would you hang on to?
Everything's fine. No matter the situation, everything is fine.
Okay.
And she could have her arm cut off, be holding that arm with her other hand and mopping the floor. She's got to mop that floor before she goes to put the arm back on at the hospital. Like, everything is fine. When I was sick and in the hospital, how's Emily? We're fine. Everything's fine. I mean, at a point, it's a little weird, and maybe things are not fine, and you need to deal with that. But really, it really makes you think about people get in such a huff about the littlest things when they shouldn't. It's fine.
So basically, don't worry.
Don't worry. Wait, my dad's a worrier, so
okay.
we always have to tell my dad, like, it's fine.
So
that's
why your mom and dad get together.
Exactly.
She balances them out.
Yep.
That's
40
awesome.
years.
That's awesome. Your folks have still been together?
Oh, yeah.
You know how rare that is these days?
I know. It's crazy to see.
A divorce is... I read... God rest. I don't know who believes in God. Whatever. Prince died, right?
Yeah.
A book was written by a friend of his, believe it or not. As close to a friend as you could get to Prince.
Yeah, right.
The journalist Touré.
Okay.
He contributes to MSNBC and whatnot,
Cool.
but he wrote this book, I Would Die for You, and it's about how Prince became an icon. And one of the things was Prince was able to tap into the cultural zeitgeist of the time, which was divorce.
Wow.
Divorce. Okay, how many people do you know who their parents are split up? You know, like
Almost all of them, except for a couple.
right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I've been divorced. I'm still technically a divorcee because I'm not married.
Wow.
But my girlfriend's parents my parents are still together.
Yeah, that's cool.
So but it's something that even if your parents didn't get divorced, divorce affects your friend's parents may have got divorced, and that affects how your friend is.
Oh yeah.
And because they're your friend, that affects how your relationship. So yeah, it's pretty awesome that your folks are still together after 40. Yeah, my folks got 80, so they'll be 36 this year.
So they're right behind.
Yeah,
it's cool to see. It's just
in time, maybe they'll catch up and go past your parents. But
yeah,
I don't know. I have no idea.
I don't know how that works.
It won't work.
Time travel? No.
Exactly. How do you reward yourself?
New running shoes.
Yeah, that's
I'm
me too.
obsessed,
New shoes,
dude. It's not okay. I bought new Cole Haans yesterday. I figure I need better shoes for work. What?
You rationalize it. You're a shoe queen. That's okay. I'm a shoe queen.
I figure
too.
I go around and speak around the country. I get paid, so I need to up my wardrobe with that money I get.
Is that your main source of revenue? Speaking engagements?
No, the foundation pays me, which
Okay.
is cool because it's like
Well, you got to
doing
take a salary to
everything.
run
Exactly.
your business. Yes, it's not a profit. You're not profiting. You're being
Yeah.
you're being given resources to finance your lifestyle that allows
Correct.
you to do what you do.
Correct.
And a lot of people don't understand that about nonprofits.
We just talked about that yesterday, Michael and I, about how do you make money? It's like, well, we're a business, but we're not making money off the company. It's like the money's going to things. It's going to fund your mission.
Exactly. Well, see, I could say that my music career then is a nonprofit because all the money that I make goes right back into the business.
Exactly.
You know, if anything, it loses money for crying out loud.
And that's a perfect nonprofit then.
We're trying to fix that. Okay, so you reward yourself in new shoes. Sweet.
Yeah.
What makes you laugh?
Pure humor. No, I really don't like stand-up comics or comedy on TV because I feel or movies. I don't really laugh at a bunch of comedy, quote-unquote movies unless it's like Waiting for Guffman or something that's totally, that stuff's all made up.
It's so
as it
good.
goes. It's all off the cuff, right? And I appreciate that. True, good writing is cool, but I just like real comedy, situational comedy.
Awesome.
So funny.
What makes you cry?
Oh, commercials. It's out of control lately. I mean, I'm just like, why am I crying right now? I don't need to be crying about this.
What commercials?
All
make
of
you cry?
them. But there's like, like the dad comes home from Iraq and surprises his kid, and it's like a Kleenex commercial, and I'm crying. I'm like, well, that's appropriate. I don't know, Cheerios commercials.
That's funny.
It's pretty stupid.
That's funny.
I'm very sensitive.
Because everything's fine. But the
Everything's
commercials
fine.
make you
You're
cry.
right, though. Exactly right.
What is your defining moment up until now in your career?
Oh, man. Well, RockCF as a whole, being able to build that, and now it's become what it is, and seeing people wearing my shirts in Africa and Israel and Australia nonstop is like, are you kidding me? And like, I put the shirt on yesterday, and I'm like, this is a cool shirt. I like it. But then it's like, wow, so do other people. They really like this stuff. And it's raising so much awareness because it's not just people with CF or people who know somebody with CF buying it. It's people who like the design, and this is our chance to give them the vehicle to look up CF and what we do. So it's cool.
Awesome.
It's just fun, man. I love it.
What do you tell yourself when you screw up?
Well, I've never screwed up. Just kidding.
Nice.
Yeah, right. No.
Nice. Hubris.
Look what
I
I've
love
done
it.
better. And what can I learn from it, right? Because I've heard somebody running for president say, you shouldn't reflect on making mistakes because it makes you weak. I'm not sure that's a good idea. I think you should reflect on every mistake you make and try to fix it and make it better so it doesn't happen again.
I tell people all the time you learn from two things in life. You learn from mistakes and mentors.
Yes,
And
exactly.
all a mentor is someone else who's made a mistake before you had the opportunity to make that mistake.
exactly right.
And they're pointing out how to not make that mistake because they believe in your potential.
Yep.
So
There's a couple of those in my life. Same thing.
So basically, you're just learning from mistakes over and over and over.
Yeah.
Whether it's your own mistakes or
It's
someone
still
else's
fun if you get it
mistakes.
right every time.
I don't know. I really enjoy getting it right. I really like to get it right right off the get. That way I don't have to do it again. or try
Well,
harder.
okay,
Because then you have to
okay.
try harder, and who wants to try hard? Oh my God.
Trying hard is hard.
Trying hard. So, you know,
Takes so much time.
What's funny though is I think you try hard at what you do because you believe in it and you're passionate
Yeah.
about it. I try hard at what I do because I believe in it when I'm passionate about it. But we live in this culture where if you try too hard, if you appear that you're trying too hard, people don't like that.
Yeah.
Because I feel that the reason, though, and I could be wrong, but I feel that the reason people don't like it when you try hard is because you're demonstrating how hard they could be working, and
I see that.
and they normally what we don't like about other people is what we don't like about ourselves.
Oh, easy. Absolutely.
So I tell people if you have a problem in your life, you go to the bathroom because that's where the mirror is.
Talk to yourself.
Yes, talk to yourself. Absolutely, it doesn't make you crazy. Just be your own boss, be your own coach, be your own cheerleader.
You got to do it.
Yeah.
Because in the end, you're the only one that can control everything about yourself.
100%. What is the biggest piece of advice you've ever received, and how did you utilize it?
Oh man. Okay. Advice. So my uncles, my mom's brothers have been super influential in my life. My one, Uncle Doug, has always been kind of like my mentor with starting Rock CF and speaking and everything I do. He'll call me the next day and be like, ask a little bit, but then tell me. He likes to tell me things like maybe try this, maybe try that. Mm-hmm. So it had to be something he would say. Or after high school, I wanted to move to New York and study theater and work backstage, stage management type thing. And through my uncle, I met with a wardrobe person who came into the Fisher Theater who was on a touring show. And I met up with her, talked to her, tried to get some advice. And she's like, maybe like stay around Detroit, get your degree around Detroit, and then move to New York. And when you're ready, call me. I'll help you out. But staying in Detroit led me to like dropping out of college, taking a hiatus, and then starting Rock CF and now doing this the way I love. So if I wouldn't have done that, I would have been in New York and maybe working, maybe not working, and really not found my passion and my voice, which is only happened because I stayed in Detroit, stayed close to family, realized I hated school, dropped out, and then just started Rock CF soon after that. So yeah, I think it was the advice of maybe she knew something I didn't know. I don't know. But she said stay in Detroit. So I did. Not like stay in Detroit, but kind of like think about, you can get swallowed up in a big city, but if you stay home, you can kind of like become yourself first.
Yeah, I had a similar situation when I moved to Nashville to do my internship for the conservatory. I interviewed with a couple of different places. One was Welcome to 1979.
Awesome.
Which is an all-analog studio, tape machine. The guy who owns it, Chris Mara, he refurbs tape machines, and he'll do every solder joint on the tape machine all over again. He resolders every solder joint. He puts new capacitors on the thing. He refurbs it to like brand new, and then he's got his own like badge that he does on it. So he does that. He's actually been working with Brendan Benson, who from Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
So they actually also now they have their own vinyl lathe, so they can do direct, like they can be recording a band and cutting it directly to the record as the band is performing. Like you screw up, it's on the record, you're done. One take, you're done. And like our ancestors did.
Wait, doesn't Jack White have one that he's putting in the Midtown store?
He's
got one of those
or whatever.
guys.
Yeah, he's. But everyone knows that because it's Jack White. Exactly. But this cat, Chris, he's been on the tip. But anyway, so I interviewed there, and I ended up taking the job. But the reason I took the job there is I also interviewed at Blackbird Studio, which is where Jack White has a room. Blackbird is owned by John McBride, who is a very well-to-do, well-known audio engineer who. He's Martina McBride's husband.
Yeah, okay. Yep.
So anyway, I interviewed there, and the guy who was interviewing me was also a conservatory grad who was the operations manager there. And he's like, John, you I like you. I think you're great. But if I hire you here, you're going to be among 15 other interns, and I don't think you're really going to get a chance to shine. So you may want to, stick, be the big fish in the little pond instead of the little fish in the big pond,
Yeah.
So I went the analog.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's fun, though. That sounds like a great little space.
It's cool. It's cool. My vibe's a little different than the Nashville vibe.
Yeah.
But no, it was a great learning experience.
That's what you learned something.
Yeah, 100%.
So cool.
We're almost done. Define success.
If it makes you happy and also helps improve somebody else's life, that to me I mean, and I guess people set goals and they want to reach their goals, and if they hit them, it's a success. How do you say the word? It's or if you don't, it's not a success. But I disagree. I think it's making yourself happy, and if it affects somebody else positively, that's even cooler.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Making an impact.
Make an impact. That's what we're here. Give back.
What's next?
Well, we're growing. I need more employees. So, I don't know. One day, hopefully, we can get some more employees so we can get more events. So, my mind is constantly working, and we always come up with these ideas and events, and I get them on paper, and then it's like the follow-through is hard because there's so much going on, and it's just me, and then Michael works part-time for me. So getting a lot of these things into fruition is tough because it's just us. So eventually I'd like to grow employee-wise to help put events on and do Rock CF half marathons in different locations around the country to really spread that awareness. Just keep on giving running shoes to kids with CF and adults with CF to get them moving, traveling, speaking, and just running.
Awesome.
Outrunning CF. That's
awesome.
what they say.
I like it.
Thanks, man.
I like it. And you got your first full marathon on November 6th. Which is going to be fantastic. Where can people find you and reach you?
They can find me, of course, on Facebook. Either my name or Rock CF Foundation would be great. But also I'm available. I'm in touch with parents and patients and people with CF all over the country and the world for advocacy and advising. Let'sRockCF.org. Okay. Hopefully working on a new website soon, so it's less 2007 and more now.
Yeah, I saw that. That was good.
I know. So,
you're busy,
but
you
can shop. I know. That's why I need to hire that person, right?
Right.
I do marketing. I do my books.
I know a great guy. I don't know if you have somebody in the works already.
Don't.
Okay, I know a web designer. That's fantastic.
We need super simple, easy website.
Yep.
All the info.
Yep.
We'll hook that up after.
Yes.
We'll love it. Yeah.
Absolutely. Last question.
Yes, sir.
What advice do you have for those out there who have a passion and want to get after it?
Love it. Don't be afraid to do it. Don't be afraid to fail along the way. But if you know what you're supposed to be doing. Like I've got friends who work and they hate their jobs because they're working. Find a career. Love that career. And if you already know before you start it what you want to do, start it. Don't be afraid. Make it your passion. And you can tell somebody when you meet them that it's their job or it's their career. And I love meeting people who are like-minded, who love what they do and want to keep doing it forever.
Awesome.
That's it.
Emily Schaller.
Johnny.
Killing it.
Come on, man.
What's
the title again? Get after it.
Get after it.
Get after it.
Get after it.
I think just close it out with the big rocker called Get After It.
Something like that, yeah.
With like double bass. And
we'll get it figured out by the time people are hearing our voices. This will be wrapped with music and all that stuff. So.
Rototoms.
Rototoms. Get out of my life.
Oh,
all right, Emily Schaller. Thank you so much.
Thanks,
this is
John.
awesome. This is awesome.
You rule.
Thank you for listening to Get After It. If you learned something from this installment, I'd love to hear what resonated with you. Send an email to getafterit@therealjohnk.com. That's getafterit@thereal, R-E-A-L, John, JOHNKAY.com. And tell me what you liked. Or tell me what you didn't like. Feedback is the breakfast of champions, and breakfast is the most important meal of the morning. If you like what you hear, please subscribe and rate and review this podcast. Word of mouth is huge. The next installment of Get After It will feature Mike Gamble, the Director of Business Development for a company which works directly with major record labels in regard to copyright protection. Until then, you get after it.